Hi ladies, in this video we're going to go through the difficult questions in 6B, which I probably should have written up the top here in case you're wondering what chapter it was or what section we're doing. So I chose these questions, I chose everyone except for 9. I don't know why I left 9 out, but I'm not going to do every single question, but I chose these because they are a bit harder and you may like to just skip the easier, not skip doing them, skip watching the video on the easier questions and just do these questions. All right, so let's have a look at question 7 to start with. So we've got 2 to the power of 7 times 2 to the power of something equals 2 to the power of 19. Now remember, when we're multiplying our bases, the powers are added. So because these bases are all the same, we're basically just going to look at these powers. So it's 7 plus something is equal to 19. So remember, you're adding your powers. So we don't know what this is, okay, but we know that 7 plus this power has to equal 19. So 7 plus 12 will give you 19. So 7 plus 12. You could solve that algebraically if you like to, but you probably don't need to do that. All right, let's have a look at G. So I'm just choosing ones randomly. So b to the power of 13 divided by b to the power of something is equal to b. Now remember, when we're dividing, so this is the second index law, we subtract our powers. Now the bases are all the same. This base here doesn't have a power, so it's just the number 1. Okay, so 13 minus something is equal to 1. So what do we subtract? It's going to be 12. 12 again. That's just coincidental. It's not always going to be 12. Okay, let's scroll up. Let's do another question. So I might do I. So we've got something times x squared times 3x to the power of 4 equals 12x to the power of 6. Okay, so what you can do is you can actually multiply these together. Might be easier. Okay, so we've got x squared times 3x to the power of 4. So we've got the 3 and the x to the power of 2, and then we've got the 4, so we're going to add them together. Equals 12x to the power of 6. Now you can say, well, what do I multiply 3x to the power of 6 by to get 12x to the power of 6? So we've already got the x. Oops, I was going to circle that. We've already got the x to the power of 6 here, so we don't have to add any more x's, but we've got a 3 on the left-hand side and then a 12. So to get that 12, we just multiply it by 4. So 4 times 3 gives you the 12. All right, let's have a look at K and then we'll move on to the next question. My stomach is rumbling. Okay, and I'm freezing. My feet are so cold. I'm sitting next to the heater. I need to probably turn it up. Okay, A8 over 2. Okay, so just like we did before, let's deal with this first. So this number here, it looks like it's going to be a coefficient. So I didn't change to black. Let's change to black. So we've got the A, 9 divided by 4A. Now, this bracket just means we're dividing the whole thing by 4A equals A to the power of 8 over 2. Now, it's probably easier not to leave this as a division. It's easier to write it as a fraction. Okay, so if you look here, this a to the power of 1 is going to change that to the 8. Okay, so we've got our a to the power of 8. So now we just need to think about this coefficient of a. So the coefficient of a here is 1, and it's divided by 2. So we've got to change this. So this becomes 1 over 2. So I've already got the 4 here. So this is effectively a half. So to make this a half, we're going to have to put a 2 there. So 2 over 4 simplifies to 1 over 2. So a little bit harder, that one. Okay, let's do question 8. Okay, so 8a, we've got 7 to the power of 7 divided by 7 to the power of 5. If you want, you can rewrite this as a fraction, but remember we're just subtracting our powers. Whoops. 7 first and then minus 5. So that becomes 7 squared, and 7 squared is 49. All right, let's do E. So we've got 101 to the power of 5 divided by 101 to the power of 4. So even though it's a high base, don't go ahead and do 100 times 100 times 100 times 100 times 100 because you don't need to. So keep your base the same, so it's 100, and then you just subtract your powers. So it's going to be 100, or 100 to the power of 1, which is just 100. Okay, let's have a look at question G. So we've got 7 times 31 to the power of 16 divided by 31 to the power of 15. Okay, so don't go ahead doing 31 to the power of 16 then multiply it by 7. So let's look at this separately. So you can change this division to be like that as a fraction. Now, the power is going to cancel out, so that's going to become 1. So it's just going to be 7 times 31. And I'm going to do long multiplication. 1 times 7 is 7. 3 times 7 is 21. So 217. Okay. So let's move on to question 10. The given answers are incorrect. Give the correct answer and explain the error made. Okay. So I might just explain this one for you and you can just fix it. So let's just scroll over because we're missing a bit here. Oh, there. Oh, gosh, it's a long question. Oh, it's just a question that never finishes. Okay, so A, question A, we've got A to the power of 4 times A equals A to the power of 4. Now, the mistake, they've assumed that the power of A is 0, or not realize that it's 1. So just make sure that if the power is not written there, it's 1. Now, if the power was 0, and we're going to do this later when we do the 0 power, anything to the power of 0 is just 1. Okay, so if you've got a pronumeral by itself, then the power of that pronumeral is 1. Okay, the same problem has happened here, so let's move on. This one here, okay, so it looks like the error has been made with the 3 and the 6. So it's actually 3 divided by 6, which is a half, not a 2. Here we've got 5 divided by 10 is a half, so that's done properly. And then we've got x to the power of 7 divided by x to the power of 3. So that x to the power of 4 should be on the numerator. This one here, okay, they've added, so these are common errors, girls. I see them all the time. 2 times 3, how many times I see 5 and not 6? So just make sure that it's 6. 2 times 3 is 6, not 5. And this one here, what have we done? Okay, so they've just missed the power on A as well. Okay, let's move on to question 11. Given that A equals 2x, B equals 4x squared, and C equals 5x cubed, find the following. Whoops, just drew on my page. Oh, what are you doing? Let me just fix this. Okay, so 11A, we've got 2A, so we're just doing a straight substitution. So A is equal to 2x. Always use brackets just because we don't want to. If I didn't use brackets, if I just did 2 times 2x, sometimes, actually probably not in this case, but if I had another term in there, I might miss multiplying that by 2. So 2 times 2x gives you 4x. Let's do a harder one. That one's a bit easy. Let's do E. So we've got A, B, C. So A is 2x. Then we're multiplying B, which is 4x squared. And then C is 5x cubed. So multiply your coefficients first. So 2 times 4 is 8. 8 times 5 is 40. Now, if you have trouble with your multiplying, if you're multiplying more than one term, sometimes it's easier to do it in a different order. So 4 times 5 is 20, times 2 is 40. So it's another way you can do it. And then adding your powers, remembering that the power of x is x to the power of 1. So 1 plus 2 is 3, plus another 3 is 6. All right, let's do a division. So G, actually, oh, no, I've already written G. AB divided by C. So A is 2x, B is 4x squared, and then divided by C, which is 5x cubed. So let's just tidy that up. So we've got 2 times 4 on the top, and then we add our powers, remembering that that's a 1. So it's going to be x cubed divided by 5x cubed on the bottom. Now, the x cubes cancel out, so we're just left with 8/5. All right, and then lastly, let's do question 12. Okay, so we've got 2x times 2y. So we've got the unknown as your power, but the bases are the same. So it's just adding them together. Okay, so it's x plus y. Let's do a harder one. Let's do g. 10 to the power of p, 10 to the power of q, divided by 10 to the power of r. Okay, so our base is 10, and then it's just p minus q minus r. Let's do one more. Let's do O, just because, you know, why not? Okay, so 10 kxmy over 8 km. I remember this morning we ended on a km, and I was so excited because it was my initials. Not that it's that exciting. That was an X, by the way. I'm looking on the left-hand side and writing at the same time. 16k. Okay, let's simplify as much as possible. So this, because this is a division, treat these as fractions. It's going to be easier. You could simplify the 10 over 8, but you don't need to at this point. So keep the first fraction the same. So remember, when we divide fractions, we keep, flip, change. So we keep the first fraction the same. We change the sign. So it's no longer a division, it's a multiply. So keep, change, flip, and then we flip our second fraction. Okay, so the good thing about this is now we can do some cancelling. So you might be able to do some cancelling now without them together, but I'm going to put everything, oh, that was a K, by the way, everything on the numerator, sorry, can't talk properly, and then everything on the denominator. I'm so hungry that I'm not functioning. Okay, so now we can do some cancelling. So the 10 and the 5, so that becomes a 2, and the 8 and the 16, so that also becomes a 2. So let's just scroll up a bit. So you can start just drawing your fraction. So you put your vinculum on. So we've got a 2. We've got a kx here. So I'm going to cancel that kx with this kx. So that fully disappears. And I've got an my, doesn't cancel out with anything. So I'm going to write my here. And I've got nothing else on the numerator. And then on the denominator, I've got km cubed times m2x. So I've got 2my over km. Do I have no k's? Whoops, I've missed this k here. Well, those k's cancel out anyway. So that k is going to cancel out with this k. So that disappears. So that's gone. Sorry. m3, m2x. Oh, I need to tidy that up now. scroll over. So if you're wondering what I just did with the k, I missed this k here, but that k cancels out with this k. So now I'm left with, let's just go up here. So 2m, let's deal with our powers. So we've got y minus 3 minus 2x. Okay. Good stuff, girls. All right. Enjoy your weekend if you're watching this on Friday. Otherwise, enjoy your week if you're watching this next week on a Monday or another day.